afternoon, late Sabbath, as we conjugate together and to be able to listen to your manservant speak to us about health and about the things we can do to live a better life for you. Father, we want to commit our dear brother, Dr. Benjamin Opoku, into your hands and ask, Father, that you will be with him as he delivers his words. Let it be of benefit to us. Let us be able to ingest, but also to be able to live by what we hear. We thank you so much for the privilege this evening that you've given us, and ask that your spirit will fall upon him and also upon us, so that we may live by your word. In Jesus' name have we prayed. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Your dog.
Where pastor ne abusia for mema monyana happy Sabbath. I think the movie there, yeah, has it there, yeah, the Sabbath in Albanavia, but me sure say, yeah, your Dallas there. We are still at the almost the end of the Sabbath, and I would like to use this opportunity to thank the church pastor and the leadership of the church, for giving me this honor of talking to your church. In fact, Enrame can say. Frankly, I didn't even know that is a church or more. So I want to use this opportunity to say shout out to all the family members. Mami Rebecca, ne Val, ne Imani, we say Pastor there said we go way back. 18 years ago now. Tried what APS Kumase. Nyame adomode aba bedrum pempen so aye duru no enra ye share tua bi ase na menim se mrebebo ma. I'll just do a quick recap of what we learned yesterday. Na measure me screen na those of us are your platform so will probably be able to see the presentation. No and no, I think we got to a point where we were talking about the divine prescription. But me pese me ba me kakra na yesha see free. And now we're talking about facing stress and then the violence of life. How do we crack the whole stress cycle? And yesha see in a can be say a lot of us, you have stress. So your objective was at the end of this whole study na we're going to learn about what stress is, whether it's beneficial, what are its effects on our health. And so ben and you can add stressor ya pomodin so and near my ben and the ma a frefre idea friend stress and a frefre neba and kwan ben so and ye befa so ye be manage idea friend stress, and how do we manage it? So these are some of these objectives. I say at the end of the day, we should be able to fulfill this objective. And my little background and my and then say a bastard you dealing with stress. A lot of us, we have idea friend say coping mechanisms, and as you know, maybe a wabontia, a boy pay immediately dealing with stress, meaning the outside stuff. But the challenge I say most times, the true way of it my survival idea friend stress, it comes down to our own ability to kind of like initiate certain techniques. There are certain maybe I see yankasankasi it me, and none of the best way you bet me at me, I kind of like dealing with the stress. And you can have, yes, the social support, the church environment, and most of these things are very critical in dealing with the issues of stress. But it all comes to what we are willing to do for ourselves. Say me and kind of like initiate our God-given inherent ability to deal with the stresses of life. It be very difficult to say the other environmental factors, they play a big role in helping us deal with that challenge. And then the background you lay. Now you and they say you besides say stress no dear. Enkem for any can who say stress and yet bad in itself. You can say stress no, it's a necessary companion. A benman who money, but you can say pennyful what the boy so far or far some uja so we idea. Tana kwakoye. To the extent say stress in the boy to say made you see alarm system you fear. Say you will fear or fire alarm system. What the fire alarm system is to alert us when there's fire. And sometimes the problem is not with the fire alarm system, but assuming say what alarm system now will fear it's faulty and it keep on going off. It keep on going off at every point. The slightest it goes in off. It becomes a nuisance. And the problem now is not with the alarm system when you to make us better. The problem is how it goes off. A trigger alarm normally go off unceremoniously, and not NSC dealing with. So you can say, for instance, issues about hunger, thirst, tiredness, this inherent alarm system, what we call this stress sensors, and a trigger, and you say, come there, you should come there, and may it me ensure. But the same way, issues like our rejaya, loss of dear ones, anyway, say, and also a boy, a funny, this whole stress issues, at the end of the day, you can say, we take stress out of your system, it means that we are just going to die. We need the alarm system, to kind of go off at the right time, at the right moment, to alert us about certain dangers that is going on in our life. If you take it out completely, it means that we will drop dead without actually knowing that there was actually something going on. And none yet can say yes. Stress in itself is not bad in its a role to play, but that role should come at the right time and at the right moment for the right benefit. Yet, to us, you go a little bit into the technicalities. For those of us you can say stress, is actually triggered. Say, body, you can say, body, it was senses. Medical can say your body is spread out with about 45 miles of nerves spread across your body. Now, 45 miles of nerves now, body, all these nerves have sensors. Some of them are temperature sensors, some of them are immune sensors, some of them are motion sensors, and all those things spread out your body. It gives you your body as an information. It gives your brain an information as to what is going on around your entire body. Anything I say, baby, so what me you nine, because so quickly, information is sent through nerves, Now I go through what you call your spinal cord through the dorsal horn and go into your brain. Into go brain, the brain will process that danger information and the brain will process that information and send pain signals down. Into pain back down, then back catch or nine the muscles in your nine say move away. No peja or nine. Into no back ouch, no peja or nine. And these things happen within a split of a second. Likewise, some dangers need be so bad. And imagine, say, you are constantly triggering these danger messages, unceremoniously. So yes, and I will put your body into that state, It you can say your baby or your brain, my friend, is the hypothalamus. And no sense danger. A sense danger na a security idea friend say corticotropin releasing hormone. Sa and non also a bit stimulate baby a friend or say anterior pituitary. Then and also be called sa anterior pituitary also be releasing adrenal idea friend say adrenocorticotropic hormone, the ACTH. NASA ACTH will act on a target organ. Target organ your adrenal organs, adrenal cortex and your adrenal organs idea friend say Twika make us a junso your renal system, baby, you filter a lot of this with the kidneys, you know. Na ekodru sa adrenal medulla na ye wade a friend say adrenaline no adrenaline. And na me can say me can you we nyina because me pese who say stress ne nyoma no we say ne ba enye just any suo keke. There's a whole mechanism going on beyond the scenes a ye unhu. Into sometimes the response is near the AC no. And yes, I didn't fit here nearby. There are certain things going on, and you money be a go on a bin a mibubo dino. Make I say unje na se unya secretion of adrenaline, no adrenaline na. They secrete some what they call cortisols or glucocorticoids. Some of this, you know, a cause my heart and wakuma ni between 10. Ebi also a ma home 10. We say now we feel too. Me use exams as an example. So wakɔkɔtena exams no time yaso na wapo wahwe apo ametwe ye nyina entoye ehwa obese wakoma asase between 10 na mfifire tew aden because in your mind you know you are processing the danger say we be feel. So you have a lot of these things happening. Nka wo sha say exams na sense na wo sha say so team fifire but den the thought of the time catching up and you failing, you know, is bringing out some physiological process, triggering out the stress senses, you know. Say it's a fight or flight response, and that is what we are getting. And then, like I said, you have time and go through and run, you see any, but now me person me lay background way. And now you can say yes, say some of this stress hormones, you know, it stay in our bloodstream, you know, for a very long time. It has effect on certain organs. One, heart rate. You can say for an average adult to be your heart beat between 60 to 100 beats per minute. Sima baku be wakuma nebo peri in between empreduasa any your proha. Me use you example be say me no nante 1 mile. Na se me makuma no bebo 60 beats within that 1 mile. Now we the enable within 90 to 80 to 90 within 1 mile. Meaning say obe breja me. Meaning me makuma na ye more efficient, yours is not. So we said they said when you have increased level of these cortisols, any these secretions near your medical body na one utiminya high blood pressure because you can say one o blood and answer wakuma no ankasa a muscle nam and a pump here energy glucose cortisol secrete it breaks down most of the sugars, you know, for energy because open say I don't have a danger but until we need all the energy stores. The heart failure happens because obi wa na koma no ne heart no already no naturally ne heart ni be around 90. Into the slightest trigger no I shall say edrube 120 e bititwam. Into machine e be do be no machine are overheated. Yeah, you can't car overheating no da no wouldn't say asema make me so bit my relate car na overheated no better ati power na tutu oba. Into obi power na say moja drobe na we ni trimo no the blood vessels na we brain no obi ho ani de ni timi pai nti pai na wanya stroke obi ho a onyade friend say ulcerative colitis because ne stress you know called sro bebre but there's so many secretions that happens nti ne yemu no what happen and say you have more secretions of acid e wo ho nti esa na ne yemu twa kuro obi wo ho a onya diabetes ni because say the cortisol in ways in break it down the sugars into simple sugars now according to the blood now instead say the tissues in the absorbing it doesn't absorb now sugars not stay in the blood system for a very long time and none of your friend is diabetes, you know, because the tissues are not absorbing the sugars now body no are converting into the tissues for it to be and also then it brings its own problems. So we learned all this, the relationship between or the association between this stress and some of the diseases I want. It's a more complex thing. And you can't predisposing factors. And human being and a free stress neighbor. You can say you will never be a friend say manufactured stress, undercover stress, age and sex. And we discuss a lot of these things. For instance, enra me sure say you can say perceived stress scale. Me sure say you move bebre no you getting the score, the perceived stress scale score no. Me nim say obi kra be willing say obema ne score. But I know say at this point, you know, why you a score and now you say unya a score between 0 to 13 net say low stress level. Unya a score between 14 to 26 who moderate stress. Who score between 27 and 40 and above, meaning say you are considered as somebody who is having perceived high levels of stress. It's na your homework is say obia no ene home da yenya time yen hwe the perceived stress scale no obia nya na score na yen fan predict some of the challenges we are going to have, and I say how best be able to manage and bring our stress levels down. Until you besides say how did we get into me, I sure say then you move a brain as we are here we've come to kind of like actually have a fair idea as to what our numbers are. And yet, idea friend said self-manufactured stress. You can say stress ni bi oha. Yeah, na ye den you create. Adwene ye dream, ni o maybe a course where ya dream, your perception, your thinking. And no, ye na ya create. Because for instance, obi wo fear and you na create here. And no ye the outside stresses ni bi. But sometimes some of the new money be what the way we react to it, that is what actually causes a lot of the problems I want. And you can say some of the other ones, especially with the perceived or self-manufactured stress. I know you discuss it. Let me perceive it taking one by one, and then we go further. It be as hate, worry, envy, fear, jealousy, frustration, guilt feeling, resentment, self-centeredness, and a desire for approval. You will say some new way no me person me bored because me person you better discuss it in a jiffy. These are self-manufactured stresses. Nyoma enye ubi ene de baye ya no ene ya create amaye. And says nyoma way to us we've already discussed say it is going to trigger other physiological processes ebe higher. And no they are really we say the can body and I'm actually process I fast they are really some of these things never. It's and right you discuss here you can say you're undercover agents. Predisposing factors, you are undercover agents. Undercover agents need be drugs. You no need be a blunt the effect of the stress as if we are not. But the problem into I hear friends smooth screen. Into adeno oh yeah adeno watch that bibia kata wanim to say adeno onto behind the scenes adeno ekun. Into what we call band-aid and the atari but kuro na nkasa we've not dealt with it. Enti ebi to say alcohol you know be wo ha ye no nsa ni anom nsa no say ebe kind of like clamp some of the challenges we have. With the message say obi microphone was into me nya a lot of feedback ever had So one of the other things I hear and I say me can say alcohol obi wo ha smoking caffeine ene obeye ne ho obenom coffee na se ne be keep na alert on na and obo adwuma ntini time I say and then ye be can't sleep ho asem or obebo adwuma nti I say na kasa nka oda no my body need me rest no onye enti na I keep put a lot of these things up enti a blunt the body's own mechanism of dealing with some of this stress and ye say one of the things that a ramp up your stress in your nerves, and you can say nerves need three things. They need blood supply, space, and mobility, and then good nutrition. That these things are very critical for our nerves. Midi can say me shall say make sure the physiology kind of stress and if I so corner. Who say most of them they find training musa na go through the spinal cord na brain anyway say the brain is the biggest nerve in our body And the rest are yeah, buy and some year 9 you go to journey ways in, they are all what we call the peripheral ones. And me can say, the entire nervous system away your body, no, it forms just 2% of our body mass, but it consumes about 20 to 25% of your blood supply. Meaning, say, nerves na you very your body, no. It plays a very big role in our blood supply and effective. Muscles are more moving to create enough space for the nerves to move. Now we're doing the you ramp up the nerves, no. Into the biana or my agitated. I tell what I will feel now. I'm accommodate no muna. Into you take time and discuss a little bit. You can be to say diet. And one of the things that you can want some vitamins, and one of them was vitamin B. You can the various forms of the vitamin B's and anyhow they play a very critical role in calming down our nerves. And in the any way say at least you per se your stress level ni we say back from and you need containing a lot of these vitamins are very, very critical in helping to control a lot of the nervousness now you want. The constant headaches, abufuo basa, emotional instability, like fatigue, a lot of them is because your nuanani doesn't contain a lot of this vitamin, which is very critical to manage our stress. And right, you're discussing into details in enemy you can be beat vitamin C and E, which are very critical for our immune system. COVID by you won't say for a lot of people are or more high or better immunity, they were able to withstand even when they get infected. They were able to withstand the effect of the COVID. And we say so we need a lot of food nutrients containing some of these things to help give us some level of insulation against some of the stresses when they go up, to bring down your nervousness and as a nerves and ramp it up and to bring them down. Your cardiac to say aerobics. Say what need to wapum. Medical can say nerves need 3 or 4 things. Medical can nutrition as blood supply, space, and mobility. How do we get a mobility? Nyankopon me can say nran because say God in his own wisdom. Enti no ye Adam ni Eve they tena edi mu one moment tena one form sanction with different form no. He told them to tender the garden. He wanted them to move. And clinically, one of the things he say, morphine, say, are there friends, the body now or what we call endogenous opioids, body ni will pain mechanism. Etimi buane manage your pain symptoms. So what ya? And ye praying you may be a 1 year pain be an also called ER. After a while, na pain form without you taking any medication or anything. How did that happen? Body need its own endogenous ways of producing pain reducing mechanisms. Now, one of them, for instance, may can say, Obi, moderate intensity exercise, like doing brisk walk anyway, saying, no, to me, walking for like about 6 miles, your body produces about 10 milligrams of what? Morphine into your blood system to reduce your pain. And for those people now, are very active anyway, saying, you realize that they say they have high pain tolerance because body clear the body and mamoja because once I wear exercise the other thing the effect and then say for instance obi or the tissue the creative tissue that working out now exercise you need to burn energy is done by the glucose into glucose now ata umoja na when diabetes tissues need use glucose na to burn energy into sugars na blood can cause diabetes tissues absorb from the blood into the tissues to use. Into the more you are very active, that is how the mechanisms work. And for diabetes or more diabetes, sometimes apart from more naturally, or more problem with their insulin secretions, But a lot of times you realize that a chunk of people with diabetes is because of what we call the type 2 diabetes. And it's because it said, one, a demand and supply I mean, so said the finance people will be able to explain it better. Wo eb meme warehouse, meme retail shop, meme ton ade. That is the tissue. Ade na me ton wo ye supplier. Blood in the supply, wo supply. We producers in any aduane na ye den wo produce. Ade ne ko inside and the supplier na ye blast vessels na air carry produce na we no. Now, maybe na me retail shop no Walmart, Target in we na me ton ade na. Wo de o track ni be si wo se wo ba be upload goods into my shop no. Nneoma na wo de ba na no ne ye ntoye. E na wo da so de foforo ba. Me shop na ye ma. Enti ne beba ne se track na e de nneoma na ba ye na nneoma na ye den akabom. Enti onto se betima ama nkrofo ama wa to nneoma na free shop wonom no mintimi offload nneoma no enti nneoma na fe de etena kan no mo che for a very long time and na asase na say these are some of the basic principles that happens in issues like diabetes and blood pressure no because aduane na edi na convert into sugars ni we say no atena moja no tissues na ka say absorb ade ne de ye adwuma no what fa ko on work it out on exercise on nante ha na ye betena homeda ene atena ha homeda nti ede ne ba na e convert wi na ati moja num na ada moja num na create problems for us. So sometimes this is the link between some of these stresses, physical activity na yare na eba no. You can sleep now. I think that we'll discuss very into details, a little bit into details about sleep. And it's very, very critical that we talk about this because a idea a lot of us. And say it me very good sleeper. It will go a very long way to help us deal with some of the stresses now you want. And I'll give that details later on because one of the things and they say, so what da now when you're good night sleeper? A what to restore body no goes under reset. Enti obi on na we be out one coffee, one we say na be awon na wo bod job. One of the things that you mistake and say we sell our bodies to make money and then at the end of the day no na yes this cannot cut back our health, which naturally it doesn't make sense. What about job bonus? What about 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs? Ube so see my enramekan. Ube so see 8-bedroom house or Ghana. Usufia we see go Ghana. One here ube wu near dino new. The only way I bet na money say you be kone yakoko see wo. E no crampo no say we ti anye ne nyezika ye de ube ko Ghana mean say hey ane ape be near the washe. Na we 8-bedroom na ukun no. We sebi ma no de sumana so we nkwase wo. So sometimes we need to learn to measure our objectives. Medical can approval, self-manufactured stress. A lot of us, we are doing some of these things just to get approval from people who don't even care. Say America, brand we say na ye den. Ya hwe ya ye be sa na no betia na ye to so ye be hie mama. Sleep is critical. It's another critical point I make say, let's face it. Say, sometimes we also need to prepare our mind for the worst. Pandemic by election you cause anyway say me sure so favorite who we say. Sometimes there are certain situations here. You need to prepare your mind for the worst. We believe that our God that we serve is able to do everything. No doubt about it. But it is also critical, say, sometimes we also need to also plan for the worst. Into when you be. Don't do so because who put yourself in that situation, your stress level because you are apprehensive because you cannot predict what you need any insulation be. Because you are always fearful of what lies ahead. Usro ntutu ka akra wo say me kai kra me to me koi say obi kra kobo me anase bibia sika ben kra na menya. So sometimes we need to also learn to manage our things very well and prepare for the worst. And now another thing that you discuss here, we talked about meditation. I may say for us in the day, we will not talk so much about it. It's a hand and the divine prescription. Nyoma yake kain yina you will say, but me can't lay the foundation. Say, despite all this, God in His own wisdom has given us divine prescription to deal with some of the stresses, especially the self-manufactured ones. 1, hate. Bible no making it very clear. Say, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. The 10th commandment, Genesis chapter 20. Okaya ewoho. Yemu be ya time crofua to the point to say, sebi. Omo picture create kra na ya time. Enti a time of maybe a bit time edru to the point is where okwa sore krampa nyankopon fie na esenka onya that solemn environment and kebema no we hear some of this the Buddhists ni we say okwa mo temple very solemn okwa omakomena calm things down so for huni ye na here to the point we do asore dem na nakoma ebo say peri ne hypothalamus na trigger all the senses, all the when the cortisol level not around the roof because it thinks that there's danger. Danger ni nyina who ya say women ministry leader. Now no women ministry leader, you call board meeting or can say me ni anye ho. Until for 1 week so well na kuma ni tria so nti ohun no. Na kuma ne bo peri. Enti odie no sa no anya hafelu. Because already now or underlying problem or that and or the hate. And you know sometimes Bible is not just for fun. Let go of that hatred, ye for ye too kind amamfrafo ne abetena kuruba. And then Yankopon aye ya dom and one my in the Jumasi yenye yesia say we should meet as church members, as family to worship. We are just people who have been given a little privilege by God to serve in His vineyard. But ye will be ye di Nyankopon adwuma na no wafa ye se paafo no ye de ho time nkrofo afiko na ye be nominating asori bebiri mu ache ya chichi emu nketekete na hwanfo na hwanfo we eyifo ye abonofo we asantefo ye mfantefo ye sekofo ye hwanfo ye tete asori mu ne ya chi na edi a time but who we are now wadana ho akaka say abrofo ye racist. The Bible tells us that say let's deal with the hate. Na ekuye enti stress na ye can be brave ye dream say there so hate is one of them. And it is killing a lot of us gradually. Yankoso pride. In Proverbs 16 verse 18 and 19 it says that pride goeth before destruction and the haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to provide the spoiled with the proud. And yamene ka mebu sem na eka eti dun si yan chiche mudun wotwe ne dun kono. Ahomaso yemu bi aye adwen say obi any ye disagree pe ye dwen say we are the repository of all knowledge. Kai hu say Nyakopon fa or say ofa liberate no ofa bi at the 11th hour. Ofa bi anyway but oti omu nyina kape. Enti no asore ebia wona otie but remember at God's church. Ebia busuan no papa no wona otie fie no yes you are the head of the family. But sometimes and I say bi obra wakoma so na otie o yere otie o ma. Enkra no so wo fie ye bought chem so I because we didn't say about America and crowd power anyway say into enjoying what ya pride. Yes, una wabo degrees I hold on anyway say into we say wo can una nyanse nyina good trim. Pride goes before a fall. Enti mu be your pride into de bia na ebu afu because our opinions were not taken. divine prescriptions. Let go of it. Ebeboama these physiological things that ya can be brain no ebeba form. Amowenya ahoto. Worry. Matthew 10 any 31 verse 31 say, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for yourself, for your life, what you shall eat, what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what you shall put on. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. All because we do not take everything to the Lord in prayer. Sometimes as I say, just all we have to do, all we got to do is to pray and commit it to God. There are certain situations where there is nothing you can do about it. Here, what a car, something has happened. There's a huge traffic. Traffic and there's no other alternative because you are stuck in the middle. It is better so we calm down. Because it will amount to nothing. It's just going to change the situation. Sometimes we need to also worry less about a lot of things. COVID by I've seen how a lot of my patients, for instance, I give an example. Mame Bako, we were doing telehealth. My friend said, no, whenever we talk, my pain just comes down. But as soon as we leave, my pain is just shooting over the roof, and my arm, I can't do anything. All because COVID in about New York. New York has become an epicenter or not this year. And just by looking at the news in any way, saying, oh, you're so fearful for. And I may be saying one thing, say, Mammy. Enti ehu abo woni de bia wote TV ni we say no enti they say dem pa na wait my ya ma oba no. At the long run we all decided on something. E ba form na o ma ne ba ne bae. All of a sudden the pain ni we say ni nyina akọ. So sometimes we know say pain is not just a product of an injury. Sometimes the things we think about and then many people can even bring pain, fear. But you can in Jeremiah 42 verse 11 and Jeremiah 29 verse 11 say, God says that I know the thoughts that I have for you. Meaning say before say we born pie and I say Nyankopon is already thinking about you. God is already thinking about you. Just imagine so we are cry now call my no papa no already no catch us say before so bad no request and I was already thinking about it. Ain't you know Bible not say the Lord is your strength and he is the saving strength in Psalm 28 verse 8. Nyankopon ye ahoden. O say what to nyom no. O say ebepona ni dane butu na ebu kodu pubunumu na emunsi ohro na ehuru a ye rinsuro because God is our refuge and strength. Onyakopon ye dwankobia ene ya hoden. Into this COVID e cost anyway saying one of the thing I told myself and then I said, yes, I'm going to work. But I know say God can protect that, and I will use this opportunity to even say just a little test. Meme from this had the COVID. She was coming constantly to my office, or the patients folded back. Sometimes I call me then a pen air training we say. She got a COVID. I didn't. Not because say metne and asked anything, but I knew say there was a God who was protecting. And God said he never forgets his own. It is sometimes, even I knew, say, even if it so happens, say, yeah, God will, if that is his will, may his will be done. We need to get to a point whereby we need to have that unflinching faith in that God that we serve. Yeah, we might have been sinful, tattered flags, undeserving of his grace, but when we believe in that God, he says he's able to save to the uttermost. And sometimes we have to let go of the fear now, you know. And we sometimes just belittle the God that we serve. Frustration, perplexion. You bet my call, you can Psalm 34, verse 19. We have all these Bible passages. He says that we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. And we say that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivered him out of it all. So sometimes the frustrations and fear and perplexity, we need to come to the Lord in prayer. In the physical part, this spiritual part also plays a very critical role. But I say the stresses in the way say now they will keep on coming. You might not be able to avoid them, but you can control your response to them. And that is how we crack the stress, how we deal with the vicious cycle of stress. The way you respond to them. Obi krabet me do atem. I saw them, and I've seen it. Matana saw them, mama. I saw them on a Christmas Eve. But the way you react to some of these issues that even happens, is what is going to help us deal with some of the stress. Now you can watch them. Positive mental attitude, and America can watch them. So we need to have this kind of positive mental attitude towards some of these stresses, because they will keep on coming. School fees in a beba, rent in a beba, but we need to plan and work towards it, because always there be the stress will keep on mounting up, and it will give us some of these responses we've talked about. Me per se yet use this moment. Madika kadait and wasem. Now me use this moment to talk quickly about sleep, because me can say sleep is one of the critical things. It affects a lot of people's stress, and we say regular sleep helps to break off the stress cycle. For instance, we say medical I explain stress, Why is sleep necessary? Adding tina and nap cry here. 1. Sleep. And answer what actually happens during sleep. A day and see you die. 1. Say your brain activity need drop about 40 to 50%. And sleep helps to consolidate memory and emotion. Your life experience throughout the day. No? Sleep store those nyoma. Anything will be on none way say no, or more a lot of confusion, memory loss, anyway say they can't once a man. Because sawoda about 40 to 50% what jumano a sote. And then another thing they say, blood we say no, blood flow no. It also in several brain areas linked to processing memory we say no. To say sleep no eboa. Emas ha mojane ekohonom se ne be ya ebetimi store that. For instance, your immune system, say during sleep, are there friends say white blood cells, they kind of like they are produced to help fight infections. And obi otimi dano we say no, a boama ne level of infections ni we say no otimi enya those kind of the white blood cells in production say na me ya onya infections ni we say e betimi akon. Into sometimes the reason why you really be where yentimi ehon to yentem because your level of immunity ne aba form into the vitamin C, the vitamin E is nana any aduan kwa we ni also I won't sign that. So emma o level of immunity ne drop it. There's another thing we call the TNF, the tumor necrotic factor. And also ebwa is pumped through the blood when we are asleep. And we are saying that for most people, this is very, very critical. A cancer killer. And say na enunti na so what here obi kra beka say oh omo na bebere no omonya cancer. it is not really because of any cause of cancer, no, but that TNF na eboa no na se cancer cells be or eboa na reduce na say a killing no. You are not producing it because you are not sleeping. You are not sleeping enough. Your idea kind of say circadian rhythms and also regulate your body no cells and then digestion we say na oh na it is affected. Your skin there be a skin issues anyway saying so oh na idea friend said the metabolic rates no is speedy up. And you know, once our body no cells in the show what we call increased production and reduced breakdown of proteins. Internet and man or skin tone and kasa no there be no with skin issues. And one of the things I see when they say daytime sleep will not compensate for loss of nightly beauty sleep. Intimacy. Yeah, night aboy bono. Sometimes let go of the night and also sleep kakra. Because you move at night and we are killing ourselves, and these things are putting a lot of stress in the mind. Irritable, you are very emotional, and it is affecting our families and our own health. Your muscles, your nami. During the day, o muscles ne they hear adwuma bebre wo nante wo puli nyoma wo left nyoma ne we say. Muscle repair and answer restoration eye adwuma during the sleep. And mostly no say wo na unya what we call say loss of muscle tone. And no with the skin no on top no and then we a lot of these issues you know. And you know you need a sleep for the muscles you know, to kind of like get repaired, get restored. Send be an assess no ways in the course of the day in any activity. You know, these things will help restore that. Blood. In fact, your heart rate goes down between 10 to 30 beats per minute when you sleep. Into naturally no daytime no wakuma na eboboro so dada. Enti se wo da wa o heart rate ne a drop and also my blood pressure and also drop kakra. Send be ya ebama wakuma no and also time to also rest. Enti se wo na meaning said that rest na so wakuma ni nya no we say ni nya it doesn't happen. And during that time and also no ebuama some of this nyoma bi I say would skin no body ni they are undergoing changes every day and now. Every now and then. Enti sa nyoma na accurate wo body ni nyina during that time you know body ni clean it up into na say bio osori anopa then you go and empty your bowels ni we say to get rid of all those nyoma no. Enti say wo na it affects some of this system. Me take care of this research. Nayako. Enti one in a nutshell we are say one na you have accumulating of toxins or white blood cells levels on the form or loss of muscle tone, reduced skin regeneration, increased stress hormones, na cortisol levels on the cortisol. You have the effect of the cortisols on some of these structures. And these are some of the things that happens when you miss your night sleep. Accidents. In terms of body no. Physically, a lot of the accidents, happens because a lot of people are sleeping on the road. And in American statistics is one of the normal cause of death, road accidents. Maka weaken immune system, decreased mental efficiency. So what now? Where's the level of concentration our form? What the school for now? Say word man. That bet that ye pan or so sorry on pana or juma. What you say yes? Me wants to see me honso. But say one day na wo juma. The slightest thing na wofu. If you sorry no kwakra we dey crack am good morning chewa na wofu. Wa what no we dem say bibi nko yi. And by the time now, yes, I know you are putting your system on a heightened level. What ramp up the alarm system? Maka memory, how memory is stored during sleep. Into winter consolidated memory. Into bibiano urefi. Ti oyera kan asema kire wo se won kan o se obi ka kire wo no ada ye tan ye ka wo se debi na ye ntokwa so for kuma na ehuna mane church board for na debi ye dey awaresem just because they say oh na until you are having a very short memory. Mood medical mood swings man wo na debia mema no debia no kakra bia na obuafu oba ne buafu be ma ne buafu enkra buafu. Maka irritability. For a school for learning, reasoning, safety, efficiency, communication, relationships, all these things are affected. Siena. Na yenhwe nyoma ben e cause some of this sleep death. Yedika the stress, medication, television na me per se. And you know, one of the things I mostly make say examine your priorities. What are your priorities? And then here, and you might not be able to control all the things that affect you with sleep, but you can adopt habits be encouraging some better sleep. And to me, per se, you take it just few minutes away. Now me go through just a little bit of the tidbits I had to get better sleep. 1, stick to a sleep schedule. Yeah, why do you say okay? So why do you say watch the alarm say every day around 11 p.m. no be call akwa sleeper, making sure so best stick it to it. Stick to a sleep schedule. Set to alarm no and the phones na ba ni nyina sleep we say no. Yeah, why do you say okay? My mama just say about 11 p.m. I'm going straight to bed. Would they say and I say into the old part ne kodampen. 2, pay attention to what you eat and drink. You move ya kwa dane ne we say no. E ho ne ya no nsu a hye efu edi aduane e we say enti kwa dane we ye fu ya kase enti me na. Pay attention to what you eat and drink during that time. Ebium, create a bedtime ritual. You why do you say 1, okay, me kwa da me fa me nice. Say be I'm Sabbath school. Say one read a Bible verse around that time. That 10:30 to 11, but some 11. That time, just use that one to read to kind of wind down. Get comfortable. Limit daytime naps. Time you move near your dad during the daytime. To your dad not during the daytime now. And man, a do time say a crocodile intimate that. Limit it. Include physical activity in your daily routine. Send a medical find time, you work out, you exercise. It also helps a lot for you to sleep. Another thing, commit your day to God and ask God for strength for tomorrow. And one of the things that clinically it catch a patient and they say, and before the trust in God in part of the bedtime routine. The bedroom is a bedroom for sleeping. But this is one thing I'm noticing with Chroma. You move your bedroom when you did TV can see about. And the time I say yeah done. And when you watch TV with CNN. It by the time I realize now I hear movie, I hear series in your bedroom also. So naturally your body is not used to sleeping in that bedroom. And create a routine. So mostly this is what we tell patients. 1, your bedroom is a bedroom. And for TV in Kosiho. Kukuru TV ni free ho. Mostly, so for you to be able to get better sleep, except the temperature in the room need to drop a little bit than your normal body temperature. It helps the body need to relax. Chroma AC ni we say no ho. Into umpe AC ya. Ubetimi be a window no. You mu be me ade me natural air. Be a window no before so ba kokoda no. whether you go before some how than be a bedroom window no in from an fa hon man ma ho yen nti wonye ready say onko da na hon na yeden adwo kakra wo kwa akwa kan window atum wada heat said them where she be brebe na and my body ntimi nka moda ma wontimi nantem. So these are said some of the little things that make us yenye. The spiritual part and then say yenye nyankopon ni, because we say in Proverbs 3 verse 24 say when you lay down you will not be afraid. Yes, you lay down and your sleep will be sweet. Sana mebusa metimi ense timaduo no na neka. Because onyankopon and our promises are if only we would trust in God. Si ebegine dia medical can some of this and new money be ensurenum universal solvent. Our blood is made 90% of water. And members may take so many time to talk about this. You need to try to keep your body hydrated. Eti near me person meka and then say one wait for bottles room has the bottles ni bebre ni wo ho wait man no nsuo ni we say inside so benum coffee ni we say no pe water bottles are the benum nsuo na keep we say these things all help to reduce your level of stress down. One other thing I make say if there are certain places and times in your life when you know say you are under extra stressor, whether it's at work, whether it's a keep fit or in any particular place, one of the things and they say during the time I want high stress, just sit back and relax and take some bottle of water. Mostly I teach some of my patients, just do normal breathing exercise. Would this will be actually bufuna so benye baby now why you say and I will demonstrate it. Close your eyes, close your mind to all your surroundings. For to a food to say what we call what a dear friend said normal diaphragmatic breathing. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Now fill your belly with air and out. So when your baby now ultimate we tiatua. Wode ukunu no wonako wona oyerako wakan se bi ahye wakoma so wabuafu. Just go back, lay back down, do a deep breathing exercise. Wode owi a na hwese wait and someone na kwai wa jinso ko obeka kire nso obeka kire na enuanom mede mensem ni nyina e ko na wieye na ne me pese meka summation one of my favorite picture Emranti sebio ebi ensa bu omo nsa atwa omo na atwa enso hwe ne omo ye omo bobo nyame aye wadom nsa ntwa wo na ntwa nanso time or how and none nyoma bia ye nyenti no we cannot enjoy life. God has promised us says ye ne o kana yare na ode ba mrizrim fo no so no o so onfa bi enye den 3 John verse 2 no sana oka o se ye tie nyankopon ne ye ka ne the divine prescription nyankopon de amana se be ya ene o se yare na ode ba mrizrim fo no so no onfa bi maye so manuasi medamase minim so bi wo questions and answer contribution bi or the bema so for manuasi I took out some things and a bear you been yakwa bisa questions and a bear no many be way to me discuss a bit me there back to bear.
Your vision for that doctor prepare ye or the way I was see at one of us ya church in stress and see him say stress ya there if me a pair ye nanti na the Israel doctor said your kind but you so be on wabi and now say be wo caution beer as will be said doctor and said the floor is open.
Pastor, Mbancho Johnny. Dr. Eda was a power on summer or the my me penapa. Na and yes, bia na like naturally me obia me da me mre.
Okay.
Na bia go force me say open na ne ade. Me kwa out makwa ko yi ade a me asembeba de I'll stay home and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I Joe during the day. Oh. Is there anything like too much sleep? Because in Gofodi me home for boss, I don't know, wouldn't cast out Hokra no order. And yes, and none mean to me in control, no dear, but I easily sleep. Maybe dear, no. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes, mechanic say one. As far as say you want to sleep, and what I can say, we need to keep a regular sleep schedule. But I was happy say what can I say, we sleep during the day, no, do not affect your sleeping in the night. Say I dare say affected there, and then medical culture, so you need to limit how much sleep you have in the day for you to have a very effective night sleep. Because no matter how well I was sleeping in the day, no, you cannot substitute that daytime sleep, with the night sleep. It is very, very critical we have that. You can never substitute your day sleep for the night sleep. And sometimes it'll be make us say onya or sleep too much, and I say yeah, because sometimes yes ana and my body no ne rhythm no it's 1 2. Sleep is not the only thing. You need some level of physical activity. Tell me you can explain it. And then I'll prefer say you blend some of the sleeping time, with getting an active lifestyle too. Until like you said, and send a bell back will be there. Take a walk. Take a 1 hour walk, brisk walk. Because bois to help take off some of the toxins in the way say bois my muscles, bois improve circulation, bois cardiovascular activity, In fact, it also make your muscles strong enough to support some of your body structures. Because I talked a little bit about pain. Maybe someday later on we'll talk specifically about pain, which happens to be my current specialty. But one of the things I say, when I say a lot of times when people have a lot of back problems, knee problems, and all those things, and sometimes it's because of their level of physical inactivity. And sometimes because when you're bulging disc, and because you're catching and say ne sciatic we say now or complaining about say a pain anyway is because of the level of inactivity. Make I say the nerves need 3 things: mobility, blood supply, okay, and space. By being very active, you get all these 3 things plus the diet. Now you can't want them. And as far as sleep, is so important, you also need the other components. Let's limit some of the sleep time during the day, and bring in some of these physical components into bed. That is what I would advise.
Like very light sleep, I say. To me in the area they're out cry like they have a chance to cry out. But and I just about for cry but them whole betcha like very light. And also then of course because I know me feel say me enough sleep.
Okay.
But me team we say I'm sorry.
Naturally, there are people with sleep apnea. And most times, so you'll be a WhatsApp problem now. We always ask, say, you see a sleep specialist to help you with that. And then they have so many things that they do the sleep study or more a lot of instruments. With me other. So that option is there. The other thing that made me kind of some of the kind of like the modalities that my mind earlier. We a light sleeper. One. Look at your environment. And Numa Ben a trigger my was to me sorry. One of the things that medical can say keep a regular sleep schedule. So we a light sleeper. It is so important. It's to make sure say 10 o'clock in the day put it at the back of your, because remember, this is what your body does. Your brain have memory. Once you do something consistently over and over again, your body adapts to it. Okay, and then I'll play this. So you're a light sleeper, get a regular sleep schedule. Opa, you're testing it out. For this week, yeah, why do you say they be an about 10 o'clock and I say a boy you're better? Now you stick it to it. Now you hear how the effect will be. Kodam penum nemidi kan put off all the lights. Dampum, put off the light. Make the room temperature and drop. Making sure say you are not drinking too much or eating very so heavy food close to the time, or you are not working out close to the time. I would done. One or cell phone, on for phone, and go through at that time. So we a light sleeper. Making sure say you get all those things. You can even lay down and do the breathing exercise prior to this, and just lay in bed. Just lay in bed. And let's test it out. The effects of it. Let's do this consistently for the next 1 or 2 weeks. And I believe that we will see a lot of these changes. Minim say my answer question there. But the other alternative in then say you can also help by talking to one of these sleep specialists. But clinically, I've done it for most of my patients, and it had really worked, especially for those who are light sleepers. And if you can keep up to that schedule, I just say at this point you are just going to lay down. It might not probably work for you, but let's test it out. But if it is something I hear chronic persistent for a very long time, you can talk to a specialist. And I know say they have, for instance, do you do the sleep study now? They have a lot of this assistive ways or multimedia for people who have some of this problem, because people are a genuine problem. Like in your case, and sometimes not even some of this recommendation will not even change that, and they need professional help. And once you're able to get that, they have other modalities a bit more for that to happen.
Medications. It doesn't have to be prescription, over the counters, vitamin, and all those things. Check into it.
Okay.
Sometimes so it may be due to you may be sensitive to a food or it be a healthy food. Until you have to go through your foods and so to see say bibi or empe. Because make a personal experience kakra. Maybe I made the hard near my course around the house in your mete. Madam Pum Samada mete bibi be an menyane. Na I will me vitamin D, so it's a very high dose. But and yes, me here be brave, but my body cannot metabolize it.
Yeah.
And here drew baby me fa kwanya bi so try hwe na afi I improve akosoro kakra fine.
Okay.
And yeah, mama no I practitioner na ka kira me se minyai. Na me jai no gradually I began to sleep a little bit deeper. And I say, oh, vitamin D is so I wasn't even suspect to say a bit me I saw me so. And yes, and gradually I was going to 1 hour deep sleep, 2 hours deep sleep. So said, as I say, Medina 4 or 5. Okay. So that's the best I can do for now. I'm trying.
But at least that is good, a good start.
Yes. Yes, I'll be here when you mam scenarios are obisu ohona ne bano odi banana na also problem. Obi at enim say banana is good food. But apparently Akrano has some sensitivity to it.
Okay.
Yeah, can say you be brave, but Obaya said you all can sohe. So when and check maybe I saw that day we are me dear mini and a bit my a chronic dear, but I became frustrated the past mintimina made the horn many gususama diache. And please try the okay canina any hot baths and hot and cold baths. to calm you down. Minim say wo mo frank to but try it. Since my work nyina would ye wo mafa but mama ye overlook simple things and medications, vitamins ni na se bi also a prescription a part of the side effects. It's a also problem. Let your healthcare provider be aware of it. Say, is there anything about me adjust to amanabwa? And of course, your good eating, yeah, can bashum. A bit about say your good food, but it may not be good for you. Air trigger some hormones or some whatever. Any a may so cranny drew baby. Nya manko me but my hormones in a drew baby uko animono. And also what effects so intina was say you're na listen to your body, work with your healthcare provider and see say if you can get some help. Edamase.
Mpacho doc Julie kakra me kaka eno hone say I don't know dear say natural instinct be especially wumba susa. A man. Me problem. I sleep deep, but bibi kakre because of my friend and that day also with me, you know. Especially almost sano. Obi bowa and you be kakre be because maybe to me sorry. And for sure. Na me kwa da say hate but me na ho that me name say be a about time about that I don't know.
Yeah, me ma on that, but it happens and it's true. They are very genuine things. Like certain stages of life, also affect a little bit of your sleep. So for instance, you're a nursing mother, and also on crowd will feel anyway say mostly when Ademekana say mind physically what also what that. But at the back of your mind, because it will drain or more anyway, say your brain you are not completely into your deep sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've not let go. You are still holding on to certain things. Okay, and all those who doing say what done, but emotionally you kept your brain alert.
Yeah.
Okay, you kept your brain alert. A lot of people not like that, and it cannot go into the deep sleep. And some of these things are genuine things. At some point, we also need to learn to have some faith in God, because will keep yourself awake in the as far as that is important, sometimes you also need to also trust to say Nyankopon ya boy man who bind or masha or son is going to take care of them. Because sometimes my job we say, but we try to say nipa na ya fa so onhwe akra na we say we do a good job. Yeah, and sometimes as mothers, it is motherly instincts. It's natural for those things need to happen, but we also need to have that emotional way and let go. And it's not just in crying. And I'm glad that you brought it up, because sometimes obi awkward new money be some of this new money be or tina adwuma be new money already or he or dampano but or ye adwuma. And these are what we call the stresses, because they are not letting go. Their body is ramping up. But even for those or more are going to the my matter or my yamana across for a very long time now. Thanks and grace be to God. They say there's something we call neuroplasticity. Our brain is in it changes based on what we call the environmental stimuli, what we give to the body, And that is why we are able to reverse some of this, even for most chronic diseases. Some people are very strict, like follow a very particular regime. They're able to reverse some of these things, because of that aspect of the neuroplasticity. And it is critical. Say yes, you've gone into that chronic stage, but you see a journey of 1,000 start with a step, making some of these simple decisions. It might not change overnight, but those little like Maudi by making changes now, you are getting at least 4 to 5 hours good sleep, it is better than getting 1 hour or none. And I think that these are some of the things that we need to take care of.
Yeah, Julie Nibio, kakra me pese, me sign the kahon say, and said, Doc, what go deep extra mile on treating stress? Who is say affect all aspects of our lives. Na ebe to me the how p abro. And pen bebre yeah agidifui. Whatever ye name no. Say ye cry ye gidie mu ye. Na ye who say Debia, I say this to myself, say, God is with me. The next sermon, I was so glad God with us. Whatever situation was, see, oh yeah, da.
Exactly.
Da every day. So that means every second, God is with us. Nah. Yenya sagidie ni nkura sagidie no esa nyoma ne bebre ho a enha ye bebre na se won situation bi mu a wonnim se senia life esitie enti se nyoma bia ho a woye wa hodin mu anya meka ho na ubetumi abɔ saa nneɛma ne ho ban a yes wobɛyɛ dan sɛ wobɛyɛ nneɛma ne biara na aba abɛto. I'm not saying say bia meyɛ me bra biara through surgeries and mama go into this, but ɛnɛ no me hu here sɛ nipa wobɛfa aduane de ahyɛ w'ano. A very simple lay. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I know I've fed what do breakfast, some even snacks and everything. You just do it just like that. I'm telling you, you don't know the pleasure any adum I womb. So fed shower no. Just a would drew answer. And he said, I dear children now fed de shower no ma wani nye na niaka nyina jamu merade. Don't wait no akodru ho say aduane si ho ba wo de shower no enye ye. Enti menuanom me de me bompaye say me tumi wo say nyame yi me afrade mu a me di adanse pa de a kire se nia Yankopon ni tumi sitie. Enti se wo nim hwe kra no de meka ne se wo fa aduane na wo de hye wano a de nyame ase na de aka nyina agya mu merade. Na one go to this stress no mu ama how ni pedua bebre. Damase.
Mama that's bebre.
Yeah, make us a clarity.
Oh,
Nyame ono numa adini so hwe ne ayo krum hanom de a ka enikwa senka ye po abobo ana se yawdi anka ye kan bi kura afi se utibia bi enipa bitimo Ghana no ye mu bebre na mesi ya ne de kwa ne akotena ba bi kama ne asa abanti ye hu na ka me send da bi picture ma ye mu bi ye hu a ka wo mi wa no complain okrum ha bi o ni nyina ne say ye complaining because sometimes unnecessary comparison na ye refi say eda no anu etimo Ghana no na epono no kra na eda pono na no eda kwa na nye papa but you were comfortable na so na ye bedu krom ha no ye pese ye force wa ma ye tebia no ni obi a ono sabio na no de nya upese wa ni ye anu huntie bia da na wo yire fi say unno bi so na no Ghana ene na adwuma ko nya bi nye nso to a efda nti Mr. Pase from my obi akwana ni obi eye ba ya hwefom se enipa san so na enyame yanka omo kamia ye komu duru ba bi a maduru na ye hu ne sa yamfa ne ma ha ye ho too much kakra bi a ye taku ne ye sempoa no yam boa ne ma ba enso te wo dem na wo mu kra ba bi hye awutimi esikam awuro so ba esi wo ho awo ba udama ho jojo wo kitchen Ghana abi obi soja kro ni bi nsuo enya sa nema we nyina we are not happy because we always have to compare ourselves to some people be now making unnecessary competition among us na ya da na ti ye ni brako ne wa ya de se ye ba fa nko a eno ne hia ti nyame mo aye na ye ntimi nsesa ye suba na ye sesa me adwene no e kama ni padua no so ba kama amen.
Amen. Dr. Ampacho, Mami Esiameni, me wo question.
Okay, ma.
Nyame sha bebre. Oya, wakasapa. Me question is say ya avoid niema e stress e brain. Ebi be the best yesterday. O kunu e hwa nkro mu bebre ya. So me question o better na peso ni nyina na da so. O ba no onya ne kakra o sa ti tomu a o na edi so. So abasa wuntumi na no be the question number 1. Question number 2. Asafo na ewo mu no ese say Awurade adwuma na hwe na wo so de ayede akoso.
Akoso.
Afena so ye de adwuma ama wo. Ese adwuma no wo go through no wutumi say wo fa stress mu pa. Asompanyimfo ne yesofo obi other position bia no a wo fa stress mu bia obedi hu adanse. Na afena kwa na wiye watimi asomu a kwa na wiye na afedie say yi ni asan bo odin bio. Ma so mo ani ba no mu nim stress ana wo fa mu. Asi we de mpanyimfo mesra mu ada. Mo hwehwe obi from say you beka kobo ho mpaye. No wan kata bobo ho mpaye. So wo ka kire o mo nte ase esi chinchin adwuma na esa wa na woje ye na wa na abetimi aye. Na waje na wo de amemene mfe. Wo ye adwuma no na wo go through stress wo ba fie a wa ankasa nim say wo enye ni gie na ade aso onyame adwuma no mu. Enti sa de we afutuo ben ana wo de be mayen e wo ho niema me numa bisa me da wase.
My name is Benifo Betima Boa me or and one, but I will start. My name is Dr. Ebo line, so I just seen here opening your more job. And I think that for some of them, I think that you are more experienced in telling me and helping me out with some of these things. But on the snoring pattern, one of the things that made me kind of say, I think that I'm not in a position where I can just say snoring to Kujaukunu. But I think that one of the things that with me and is anya your earplugs or more plugs are like flight money ways in there, yeah. Or this Walmart anyways or more plugs, just simple ones here. This is a assume. And on be of with that atmospheric pressure anyways or for flight to crowd to meditation as soon as never own dark way say and then a very simple and nebo on your day. $5 or $2 crowd with plugs in the be. Ubetime use no or that and no name could also mean ubetime db as a wasum or that a bebow to blend the outside noise in any way for me that is one recommendation that I'll do. Me school me all of my lender those times my roommate was so no obo basi pa na enya de ketwa where's all done goes there. And I realized that worked for me, but I don't know. But I know a lot of times, those things blout out the outside noise, into the bass in a treble in the elbow bedroom, it will help reduce the level of the noise. And that is one recommendation I remember. As to the church side, it is very delicate and a very gray area. I think them will be in a better position to help. The only recommendation I remember say. What platform is let's bear in mind and make sure say me kan nyame adwuma or therefore be na was through and one my privilege for all of us to be partakers of in his work. See ye jai my adwuma no kodi nipa ba akoso pre na ate na ye ma me kan Ekoye burden na eya memenefeso no ya. God is going to judge all of us. Enti no nyame adwuma no wanye se menemu enye konua na obi kom. He wants us to come into his work with gladness and with happiness. But most times you move bebre the problem ne say eduru ebi a an je me enhwe ni ejabo. Those kind of at some point, you know, you bibi say it is just grace. E Onyankopon dum bi keke o. Say bi enye wo doctor wabo wo wan na asore no say na medical kan. Sa asore no kra wo na wo ti ya. Eye nyame adum bi o. And sometimes in mpanyinfo say banu so a emia. Banu so a emia. Enti se yeje adwuma na mana kobo bi no se ne be a omo be fele ne atena se ne ya criticize omo no kai hu se eguma ye nyina eguma ye nyina enguma so konko eguma ye nyina. So I think said that's what I can say let's help ourselves ye nyina ye mo ye ho se ne be a adwuma no nyame adwuma no wo so kakra mesuma so kakra ne ye nyina ye moa. I think that's what I can.
And Doc, yeah, there was a brave topic here. What do you say? Yamayeni. You said the income share can say 9 out of 10 of all our diseases suffer no has its original stress. And I mean, 9 out of 10. And here pass a bit taken here. Opinion can seriously. Yamara question of Bisaya. Say, Wukununa, and now we're in the esa. A idea. Or home when your son can go society to na Udru baby no jai homea. And Chile and son of a homea, a friend of sleep apnea, bebre timiwu. A yes, open your help. A uvla no na ya a son nika no. Etimi twama no na wotimi home kama niema hodo bebre abaye de boa sleep apnea enti enyesa wo ba ma no asofa saade no there is help available enti eyesa mo ba kwa hwehwe senia doctor kana so wotimi fa earplugs abeboa ba emwa wokono no there are plenty of help available. Asora adwuma dear, it shouldn't cause that much stress. Me a privilege to do BBATSA. Be a difficulty in getting along with people until maybe we need to change gears. And adwuma says cause a problem. Was say I delight to do that well. One can say me there meaningful. There be a personal problem in leadership and I say teamwork. And me adwuma nipa ba mo ahomti sam bebrede but it should be a joy instead. So yes idea naturally say ye ne ye no no. And yes ne me pesa mo ya na mo nyina asafo no mbe e bia ye hia say etena se ne etie ne a won mo can be. The God's word should be a delight for all of us.
But yeah, that's a bad.
Dr. Mpacho, Rick, name is a question back. Mpacho, what's the main car?
Mpacho,
yeah, Yamida was a pardon. Now, my question is, now what can sleep what's some now, Obi so you can ye be an answer, a do so or da, or be a yes, I, Buano, in fact, said you have beer. I saw you be an audience so preaching be an baby sa. Nan so we and sa and me person say, yeah, na, there be a mirror the stream is near we no who could have been anywhere any better now better. No, a year not saying yet.
One, I think that Nemeka said, I will not take that away from you. Obi oha like medical can say, Obi oha or share a year, Obi ultimate meditation. And then I calming it down. Okay. We have idea friend say coping skills. Obi oha it wouldn't come to them naturally. They have to do something to help them to manage some of these things. And to say, and you now be bought and obi or me madam for be now is or no or classicals. Or classical, and then if you want to do that bedtime or they'll play the classicals with it. If you know that classical tunes, just set the tone for the feel as a baby, calm things down for people to sleep. So even if you don't have that, cry, we would hypothetical situations say we know go baby and I say, and then you don't have phones anyway. Say you have your phone with you anyway. Say you can have all those songs and then download that. You do those things to wait to calm yourselves down. So I will not say it is bad in itself. If there's a way for you to kind of like manage it without depending on data, fine. But I think and only you're very great. Said naturally you can, and I'm a kind. Sometimes you need to kind of like look at some of these other things that we don't take into consideration. Maybe kind the kind of food we are eating before the sleep time, amount of the sleep, the bedroom environment, and then the ambience in our bedroom, putting gadgets and televisions and other things in a way, sometimes would you surprise you say if we take out some of these things we might not even need the music in any way, and as we might not need some of these, let me say, assistive things to actually aid our sleep. It will come to us naturally if we learn to calm some of this environment in it down.
That's it. That's it.
My last question, Adjoani. Physical activity at now can. What's the find time to be active? You're quite Jumantino. Some of us know we assume say Jumana aircon because you're nanti a lot. Ubet me and dear no share in place of physical activity. I wash that plan is a year daily. That's a nanti, we are about 10,000 steps a day. Is it as the same as like working out? Our amount of time, say, 30 minutes, you may say, it must the effect near the same, Anna.
The answer is emphatic no. Because once you make your mind, they say we have physical activity to kind of like help your body, there's a conscious component to it. And sometimes that is one thing that you lose. That workout time now, I don't say we say no. You set your body up for that. So there's other what they call neural activity, be a firing signals where you go on with that conscious exercise in our way. And most times that is what one of the things. Yes, being physically active, in your job, walking around, has its own good things. But to get a lot of the beneficial effects now associated with well laid down physical activity, there's a conscious component to it. And so we take it and no out because one, the work environment, is stress. You have stresses in the work environment because you are doing those activities under what we call quote unquote stressful environment, a stress induced physical activity in our way. Okay, for instance, for instance, so we call out now walk just to work out. Look at how your body feels. And compare it to the fact that say wakobo job like wakobo juma or 8-hour 10-hour shift. No way Gina will now swabo will be do fear. How do you feel? Look at the differences. So most times one of the things I tell people, and they say, yes, it is it okay to be physically active, walking around doing the job? Or yes, there's a good thing to it. Your body actually helps because you are not doing a sedentary lifestyle. But for a way say you need to actually get time. At least you can't over and over, at least 30 minutes within a day, where you use that body, that conscious aspect, the body mind connection, for that effect, to come in. That one you can never substitute that, with the work environment working. But one of the things that Mehun Crawford cries on me and said they decide to take their break time, to consciously go for a walk.
Yeah,
that is different. But say work-induced stress environment and you cannot substitute that.
Okay, that's it.
Be a kakra me de beka no ho no say. You know, free exercise and so aerobics. 10,000 steps now per for cardiovascular benefits are wunya or stress induced environment no upon any church mono. As I said, would for about 20 to 30 minutes continuously. You must ukojina table where no occupation to where no agena. My own means set to heart rate into a target zone over any benefit. And this any work on over 10,000 steps and benefits be any. Secondly, when so can be stress induced, Loma Linda University in the design side. One from Ranty and Maba, one of Kama Bejina, one board tennis, one measure endorphins.
Endorphins, yeah.
And now one Sunday memo and cuckoo basement, Abaya Biano, no one board the same intensity near measure one endorphins. One who say basement hody and I very poor. We exercise now one in you over 10,000 steps, but you won't get any real good endorphins. Endorphins, no sooner back arteries. I could script with the cholesterol deposits, cardiovascular benefits, no, I can say. And Nimi the same. One anti-carbon and a panaco or 10,000 steps now, but now was what you know, could you are once a whole bofilema, no near J. Endorphins, no, I'm one Egypt, a binum take cocaine, name morphine, no one tirasa. The beer goo and mojamo, yeah, exercise netiba. We understand I'm more happier, plus say a clean arteries. Just setting a time out for walk outside near far more beneficial than Jumamodian.
And Kakame Debeka, Dr. Boadiano Canon said, one of the other things too, I see when I said for every exercise, there's a principle associated with it. We call it the FIT principle. FIT. Frequency, intensity, time, and type. Frequency, intensity, time, and type. For every exercise, beyond one, what is the frequency? And a dog D can count once, a boy can once. In the work environment, the frequency, you don't get it. There's breaks. One, the frequency part, you're losing it. Two, the intensity, you need to sometimes work within what you call your target heart rate. The target heart rate, the basic way of calculating is that you do 220 minus your age. 220 minus your age, will give you your target heart rate. And then, thanks to God, your Apple iPhone watch and then phone, even phone, not crampon with a lot of these apps in the way here, will wait me there measure how well you are working. Anything sometimes will be or make work. Walking no, maybe on a down for Neko, but or more nanting or within or more working towards that target heart rate at the moment into a more walk on concern go good. Into a back work about or make working so some fast will be because you are not working within that target heart rate. Until I make the conscious pattern, and then we talk about the type and then the time. So if you are time and then the last you are getting the time. But the type, we have the cardiovascular exercises, we have flexibility exercises, we have strength exercises. You need all these types of exercises to make your weight in the system complete. And then we need to kind of like create that environment now. Ubenya a lot of these benefits than to kind of like using the job as an excuse to try to create that weight.
That's it.
Doc, Pacho Adumakuni. Pacho, yeah, me say me night Juma. And the advice been over my people like me. Because you have to be alert throughout the night. You come home and so what advice would you have for people like me? Thank you.
Like I said initially, it's a very delicate thing. In fact, I have friends anyways here. to say, especially Chroma. But like I mentioned earlier on, one of the things you need to do is you might have to find days that you don't take the night. It's unfortunate, but that is the honest truth. I made my catcher. There are some of the days in India you need to go take the day shift, and then so that you can get good regular night sleep. Because what I've seen with some of I'm not saying say you and I said, but even for some of me and my own colleagues, obi wo ha wakoje night ni nyina abonebo. Okoye no so mo fa night ni nyina anye den emame. Because one, maybe a night, yeah man, a time and a half. Wahoo, yeah, kind of and maybe a night, or yeah, less work, but more money. And do it time, a baby one could try another second job, baby. And sometimes all those things, yes, we are looking at the economic benefit of it, but it has serious self-implications. And then I'll plead to say, yes, you might have to go for some of the nights, but it is also critical. Say you take some of the days maybe offer, you get regular and good night sleep. Advice that made to me, I can minimum something for it will be for the back there. But honestly, that's what I can tell you.
Be a kakra account say. What advice can you give me? Just over 6 years before your career, it shortens your life by 6 years, especially so called swing shift. This month, no work night, next week, no work evenings, not a switches. But you move be here, say you work nights. But I know a circadian rhythm, no, I yet thrown off. And I just say so, Binum can send the horse arm and animade. Sakania catecatacatiswa. When near Catadi and so the brain, who say a daylight, serotonin in near my timeboama, the empty and yajuma papa. The same way now best sleep during the day, I won't even call very deep level of sleep. But those of us are here say a yajuma during the night, but more than say, obey research your circadian rhythm bill. Obey BBR at the same time, obey fear about the same time, by shower about the same time. IDD about the same time. No, circadian rhythm to me set it, but it's never as good as it's a woosily panajo. Na cell phone kura wa plug in light be a nif dam ho. A yedin, yes, and a wagon and who say, a dear son, can nearby compare was so a wagon and a keep awake a coppins are there.
And to add to the Dr. Eboa, yes, and especially and no the daytime in the crowd bed dana, like he said, you need to make sure say ube create that night ambience, our bedroom or no. What making sure say it's dark, the room is dark, there's no light in there, the temperature is a little bit lower and everything. Like I said, it might not be the same as, but at least that consistency, or creating that same night ambience, will go a very long way, to protect you.
Yeah, Madam Anse, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, Pacho, Julie, name or question. Hello.
Pacho,
yeah. Microphobia, yeah. Studies be who say stress pan. I don't know. Sorry, then. I'm swatted that.
Pacho, I studied in the Minyan kind.
Yeah. Me exact but me kai say I can't be sad. Almost stressed. Those are almost interview almost they get more stress for a sorry than any other place.
Yeah, sorry within the Adventist church and now say sorry as in where?
Sorry, well, they didn't mention any particular church, but almost that's what the studies showed. And not me person who say be a what that. They say what that, yeah. SDA form or no, how do we prevent that from happening?
Well, and I mean, as a one, I've not read that research, and two, I'm doubting the way say na or more na. Internet may be so specific because for every research, and there's something you need to know about research. One, you need to know what is the target audience, what we call the sample size. You need to know that. One, and so who the authors, Obi wɔ hɔ a, some authors skew their research response because they were sponsored by a sometimes very good research, they will tell you say they have no interest or they were not so like sponsored by any way. Say it is sometimes a lot of research comes out. Sometimes some of the research have to be peer reviewed and putting a lot of kind of things into it for us to accept the authenticity of the research. Because so we can say sorry ma stressor. I will ask us one, how? What was the discussion? What was the conclusion or more hypothesis in anything? And what were the responses? I can only speak to that when I've read the research and then known what exactly that or more conclusion based on the response. Which people did they actually interview? Our more responses say sorry. But in terms of Adventist second for it, make a comment when it there. I think that for me, in my own experience, that the church environment has been one of the best places for me to kind of like distress. Just being that in tune with God in any way, say, it is for me, even for my student days, looking forward to Fridays, it's like there's some burdens that has been lifted on looking forward to the weekend. And so we catch them said his church environment is a very stressful environment. And I kind of say that's an emphatic lie in my estimation. But unless probably I read the research to get a better understanding of what actually went into that study, and that is the only way I can speak to it.
abusuafoɔ m sɛ ɛberɛ no yɛ aso ɛnnɛ na nka Sabbath no ne twa sɛ yɛtumi close Sabbath 5:30 about 5:30 na awie nyinaa kɔ but program yi nti na stay up to this time. I don't know say will be your final question and contribution. Yeah, yes sir. You better doctors na yɛde dwumadie no aba na awie. Doctor, it was Radin Shroud.
Amen.
In fact, said the name of Julie Cano, Wako, level here, Oko Sopa, how stress. You do baby cry now, all kinds of stress, and say, good, why wouldn't be no? So I was thinking about this. Say, how in a prompt now, baby, and not me defaka cry. Say, you only plug message was some. Doctor, who has who know now the plug I show us. Also get near how now also get near how. And I think say let's find solution to the problem. That's the overplug I was not I never know about.
I want that through Nika Muda. Nika is tata.
You know, yes, why intimate na maybe ala also how because believe na me pa na kim so na mada. And what is the problem? Everybody hu yamabo.
Amen.
Na onka ye ho said ye be ya na bibi ai edasiama ye nyum bi ready nanka obi a edasafo gia bompaye ede hyiraye na otwa ye bisimi nyame ma ye ni mu nsem para onyankopon ni mu nsem nyina enti edasafo gia be bompaye amaye se erade enhu emobo na onnom ye said ye be ya especially self manufactured stress and I said the any kofa ba ye ho because who cause them no consume nyame no asa ba fi na no more of self manufactured. I don't know say me me kwa sorry na what is a man for how do you say Enti yana yebesi ene nyame kushia ene nyame boayen. So we have to look beyond the other people. So that any problem never. Me who so be a hospital konya problem that because we are particular about yourself. Who doctor no aba. Erade enhu emobo na omayen tiase. Na erade ntine ne mtre no nchira e nte nne last time I be a doctor be ba kasa akire management of pain. Be a coin be fast so you use drugs. Na yebetimi manage your pain and ebia ebeku. Said the bear and some of our how emre. Unfo nyankopon ka ye nyina ho na ono ye. Said the bear at the end of the day no se opia e nyina ebenya nanim adom ene emobro no. Eda siama wonyo bi obetumi de ama obia na eda safoji ehira ye. Dr. Eradin kan onyo kase wo bi.
With eager steps press on the way, who long the hallowed cross had borne, still looking for the promised day. While many line of grief and care upon his brow was furrowed there, I asked what brought his spirits up. All this said he, the blessed hope. And one I saw with sword and shield, who boldly braved the world's scornful and fought unyielding on the field to win an everlasting crown. No one with toil oppressed by foes, no murmur from his heart arose. I asked what brought his spirits up. All this said he, the blessed hope. While pilgrims here we journey on in this dark vale of sin and gloom, through tribulation, hate and scorn, or through the portals of the tomb, till a returning King shall come to take his exiled captives home. Oh, what can board the spirits up? 'Tis this alone, the blessed hope.
Also.
Yeah. Hello, Mpacho Mutimengo.
Yes, you're too.
Yeah. Yo, aja kron. Aja wodo mba na bri nyina wani kunye ho. Ohome da fefe nso yedowasi. Tu ame honhom ne honam fam. No kwatsem ni wadum wanwa no ama enya adinya kese pa se womma yenso so yenya chefa ewo wasafo kronkron mu sanse niema ehia bia twa se bema womma yedie we ya sitena mu na ebeboa yenso ho soro akwantu emu no unyame wamfa hintayen na odi ni nyina na mwadom wanwa so de ache asafo ikwa eni nti enwumre yedowase yedowase huhumaduane a wonam ye mrante ne mabai so de mayen anopa no am ya me huhumu yenim se bekoso asiesie ni padue amasura kwantu a Wodo wanwa wo ma yen ti no. Wakɔ na wosiesia ma yen. Sɛnea wo ma yen sabɛka daa nkwa. Ɛno akyi nsoso no, wanya yen kwa sanse oba asase so no. Ya pomodin nsoso hia wo yie. Eninti akwankyere pa bia sefata wo ma. Wodi agu akwan mu ma yen. Eninti anyume awie nsoso sɛ wonam doctor so the stress management ti sɛ ama yɛn a na ya de nya kɛseɛ paa nti yɛ dawase sɛ wenum yɛ ade anka yɛsi yɛtua ho sika bebree ne yɛnsa aka nanso awadonti no wode akyɛ asafo ikwa ɛni nti ne yɛka ne sɛ wenya ade foforɔ a ɛma oma na mmom asoɔden a ɛwɔ yɛn so ne wahyɛ yɛn sɛ yɛnkɔdi akyire san sɛ wosi that shall not covet sɛ ne stress yi kunyi a ne yɛ covet yɔtena sintia san sɛ nnɛ wo mma yɛni wiase di akansia sɛ bibia ni hɔ a ɛsom yɛn bo nanso nokwasɛm paa ne sɛ wasɛm a ɔde ama yɛn sɛ godliness with contentment is a great gain ɛni nti sɛ ɔsɛ yɛnya ne yɛbɛdi ne yɛbɛnom ne baabi yɛde yɛn ti bɛto a yɛma ne nnɔɔso mma yɛn saa nneɛma nyinaa wama no abu nka yɛn so nanso wo mma ɛnyɛ yɛn fɛ yɛni nsɔ yɛpɛ wiase nneɛma nyinaa ɛno ne haw kɛse a akɔfa abrɛ yɛn ɛne nti yɛde wase sɛ awie wonam doctor so akaaka yɛn ne yɛserewaa ne sɛ ma yɛnya akoma pa ɛmfa ntie nsɛmpa a ɛte sɛ yie na wo mma yɛnso mu mfa nyɛ adwuma sɛn sɛ wiase a yɛpere wode yɛn ba no wamfa hwee a nka ho saa nso so na agya padeɛ bebree a yɛpere yi a akɔfa ɔhaw a atete yade ahodoɔ aberɛ yɛ nyinaa akyi no berɛ no so na asan frɛ yi a yɛmfa hwee nkɔ ɛni nti sɛnea wahyɛ yɛn bɔ sɛ yɛnhwehwɛ w'ahenni ne wo tenene ne kan na ne aka nyinaa wode bɛdom yɛn no saa nneɛma nyinaa no wode adom yɛn nanso sɛ yɛhwehwɛ w'ahenni ne wo tenene ne kan paa no yɛntimi nyɛ ho adwuma ɛno nti ɛfiri na ɛkɔyi no yɛserɛ boa yɛn sane sɛ wonam odiyifoɔ Jeremia ka kyerɛ yɛn sɛ sɛ yɛhwehwɛ wo a yɛbɛhu sɛ yɛde akoma nyinaa di w'akyi nnɔkore ma ɛsɛn sɛ wodwen yɛn ho na ne ehia yɛn nyinaa wode bɛma yɛn nti no boa yɛn yɛmfo yɛ adwene nyinaa nsuo so na ɛnni yɛn yie sane sɛ ne ehia ma wo maa a wɔsere ma yɛn ne sɛ ɛbɛsi yɛn yie na ɛsi yɛn kra yie ɛwɔ asase yi so ɛno nti yɛde wase da wase ɛne deɛ na ɔtwe a yɛbɛsi mu yi so no yɛnim nsɛm o nti mede wama nyinaa bɔ w'anim sɛ nnɛ sɛ na ɔnam wodom so ahyira yɛn nyinaa yi na ɔde yɛn bɔne ne yɛn mfomsoɔ nyinaa kyɛn siesie akoma yi ne adwene ne yɛmfa yɛn ho ntoo so nɔkora mu yɛnso wo Awurade Yesu mu yie na kwampa ne akwankyerɛ bia wode gu akwan mama mu yɛn no yɛnso mu yie ne yɛnim sɛ woyɛ Nyankopɔn domfoɔ sɛ wobɛma yɛadi yie ɛno nti na wɔtwe yɛsoro sɛ ne yɛnim wo nsɛm no ma wo nsɛm a wode abma yɛnyɛ yɛn naase kanea ne yɛkwan so hann ne yɛnim sɛ wo Awurade a wo nkutoo na anim adekyeɛ mu nsɛm no wobɛsiesie yɛn ahwɛ yɛn so abɔ yɛn ho ban na wɔtwe nyinaa mu wɔ mmerɛ a yɛnkɔtɔ asiane abew ne neɛ ɛkɔ so wiase nyinaa mu na abɛkɔ so akora yɛn so ahyira yɛn sɛ yɛbɛsitie ama wɔn nsɛm nko a ɛni nti boa yɛn na twe yɛn gyidie mu na yenim se awurade a wodɔ ma no ne papi no wasiesie amayen yenim se enche obepon ye free obre asase yi so oba esanse ye sitie ma wonsem na ye di wasem mu nokure ni ananti wanamo nti no wabepon ye nyina di akofie we ni adom bebre na nwumre wo mesre sakan ye ho dombo en na hire yimpi we agin kwapa Yesu Kristo odom no adɔ ye nwanwa no mu na o ma ye bisa di nyina adom kasiye ni nti amen
Amen.